What's happening, everyone? This is Hera here, and this is going to be episode 10 of the Guild Wars playthrough, and this should be the last episode of the basics. Unfortunately, in this episode, what I'm going to do is I'm going to be re-recording my voiceover this last episode, as I made a bit of a poxy error. So what we're going to do is jump in there. Now, the first thing I will jump in there was on the chat system. Pretty much what I wanted to talk about on this. If you click this button there, you can hide and show the chat pane. It's a pretty nice feature. And all it does is it shows it. So if you press enter while it's disabled, you can re-enable it. The next part I wanted to jump on today was the profanity filter. Of course, if you select on the settings button up in the top, you can disable it and re-enable it. Pretty straightforward. Just in case, you know, in my case, I like to see if someone's telling me to go fuck myself. It's that simple. So what we're going to do here is just jump through and continue with this quest. We have to defeat the Flame Legion thieves, so I'm just going to go through and kill all of these. And I think I might speed this up as we just kick some ass and continue to learn some of the abilities. Okay, this is the next part I wanted to just bring to your attention. And it's actually, I can't remember if I did this in the past, but it's the control mouse 2 button. Pretty much what you can do is you can set up an auto attack function based on your ability. Now, I'm pretty sure I was running around here to testing this and it didn't work as the way I wanted to. I thought I could set multiple, but apparently you can only set one for the time being. And what you do is if you control right click, it is set by default to the first one, but pretty much as you can see there, once you take your hand and keyboard or hands off the keyboard and mouse, you're pretty straightforward to go ahead and just auto nuke. So in the meantime, let's just continue and we'll clear out some of these ads. Okay, ta-da! Now the general is down, or the thief general is down. And so we should move on and retrieve your weapon plans from hiding where we hid them. And this guy keeps getting in my way, so we shall get past that. The plant holder is undisturbed. The Flame Legion did not discover your secret compartment. Open the compartment. The designs for your ghost bucket are right where you left them. Take the plans. Okay, so let's get the hell out of here. Actually, before we do that, what is the next part? Confer with your survivor from your warband. Oh, it's that guy. Okay. Flame Legion. By my tail, what were they doing here? We took care of them. How did they get in? I don't know, but we'll find out. Here's one more question. No, we have the prototype build. Let us get those parts from the wrecking yard. So we're gonna go get some parts. And as you can see there, we managed to complete this first major quest, and this has given us access to several items. So we can go with plus power, vitality, or toughness. And I think that's the fact that I am going to be pretty much a glass cannon. Plus power is generally for me. And we also get this crude salvage kit, which I'll go over now. As you can see there, I got a huge amount of XP. Nearly a full bar. Well, actually, nearly just over half a bar, so that's pretty much boosted me ahead. And what we're going to do is have a look at this crude salvage kit. So in the crude salvage kit, pretty much it works as a disenchanting item. So when you select it, you can disenchant items that you have to save on space, as well as are just turned into what's the word? Crafting items. God damn it. So let's do this. If I double click on the salvage kit and just click on one of the rare items, it just turns them into, for example, the 2 Jude scraps here. And I'm going to do the same again with this chain hile armor, and it turns it into the copper ore. And you know, the copper ore is quite useful. It's used nearly for all of the crafts. So I'm just going to quickly deposit these, and then I'm going to just check to make sure I don't have any other spare space, reorganize them, and then just go through some of the items. But before we do that, it's always best to just do a quick comparison. If the item, for example, comes up as like armor class not used by my profession, then you know, you can just turn around and put that away or disenchant it. in general, there is no real reason to actually save these items in the early game for any reason For example, I'm just going to equip that. And we're just going to move the last of these extra pieces. All I'm doing is putting them in an order so I can go ahead and just get rid of them all pretty quickly and save all the materials. And then from there on, I'm just going to go and quickly remove all of the materials just by depositing all into the bank, and then I'll put them to use later whenever I want. Okay, now just before we do actually turn around and leave this area, I want to take your attention to the fact that there is a couple of ways to actually leave the area. One is a little exit button that pops up down the bottom right just above your map. This is an instance area, as you can see here. Generally you will come across this quite a bit when you're doing your main quests, and you know, we can leave by going through the front door or we can go through the side. Now there was a couple of general points there that I just seen when I was looking at the map, so we're going to run around and get all these interest points, and I'm going to do that pretty quick because we want to be collecting these as we move around. So let's jump ahead there with some speed, bring it up to date. Ta-da! And now we have all of the interest points of this area, and we have made level 5, which means we have access now to, well, our first actual class-based abilities outside of the weapons. So what I'm going to do is I am going to pause this now and jump ahead a bit and jump back into the game and continue recording from this so I can explain it a little bit more in detail. 1 second there. Okay, we're back, and now we're just outside the instance. Granted, it's a little bit ahead of where I was, but you know, considering I had lost my voice while recording during this phase, it's a bit easier just to go over this a little bit more. So what I was doing is going to continue on from where I left off there, and we're going to have a look at skills and traits. Now what happened is the moment you hit level 5 you gain access to the unspent skill points. Oh, well, I had 2 skill points, but this opened up the utility tree, and all I did was just had a quick run through the abilities. Now what you do is you buy up to 5, okay, to unlock the next set of skills, to which you buy another 5 to unlock the next set of skills. And as you can see here, you'll unlock this next open area or open ability at level 10, and the last one at level 20, and then you go into elite skills at level 30. So you have these 3 things. What I did is I just skimmed through these. You know, I had the arcane wave, shield, elemental powers, signet of frost, but I turned around and I looked at the glyph of storms and I was like, call a storm based on your attunement. That sounds pretty awesome. So what I'm going to do is just out of range. Oh right, okay, this was another thing I did that I forgot to actually cover. I spoke about it before, but I forgot to redo it, so I'll just do that quickly again. In the options we have a auto targeting, fast cast ground target ability. I'm going to untick it there to show the difference. If I press number 2 on my keyboard, which is this ability here, what we have is this little circle pops up, and when I click that on the ground, pretty much we get our AoE ability. If I turn around and go back into the actual options there and just click on fast casting, what that'll do is the moment I mouse over here and the moment I actually press number 2 now, it'll cast immediately. There was no circle to pop up. This is a nice little feature. It's something a little bit more advanced for players if they want to try make it for extra speed. Between that and the camera, when you're running, you can do it quickly and you can go, right, I wanted that to cast there immediately. But you have to monitor the range a bit. It's kind of something really advanced players will get used to. This, it's one of those things where I'd be tempted just to leave on in the beginning, so I can get used to the maximum range. You see the difference there? I wouldn't be able to see that with the cast. This is a little bit of a downside. Now it's kind of useful in one aspect, but not so in the other. For example, if I click there, I'll come up with range. But I could be doing that, and I could be, you know, I'll be running along and I press it, and I want to get this guy there. I want to hit that guy. Okay, too far. I want to hit that guy. Alright, so I managed to get that. It was third time in the chance. And if you can't see that little circle, bit of a pain, so I'm going to leave it on for the time being just to get a strong familiar feel. But yeah, that works with that. Before I end off this episode though, I'm just going to answer one of the comments that someone left me. It was a quick question. Pretty much it was a quick question that turned around and said, what do I think of the pay once part of MMOs? Okay, I admit that's a bit confusing, the question. But I assume he meant, what do I think of pay to play? This is one of those scenarios where there's a lot of different opinions on this. And I know for a fact that I have been working with this for quite a while. I have my own opinion as well, so I thought I would share with you instead of just doing a quick comment reply. I think the pay for play feature is pretty epic in that you don't have to pay for the subscription, but you have to pay for the game. Now, the difference is expectancy changes, and I find that with myself a lot. When I pay to play a game, I expect a working game. Pretty much. I want a game that I expect, at least if I'm going to look at it from an MMO perspective, the first 30 days of this game, I want to have as flawless as possible. And I don't want to come into a game and find that, for example, loot or some major aspect of the game is missing because of the fact that it's not subscribed and there's some big deal about gear or something like that. I came across this in some other free-to-play MMOs where you jumped in. I can think of Global Agenda off the top of my head there, where I jumped into the game and immediately they wanted to charge you money so you gain access to the account to allow you to gain access to blues and higher level equipment and faster leveling. Now, it's a bit of a game breaker, but at the same time, I guess this was more acceptable because the game was not charged initially. I didn't pay to actually download and play the game. I could play that free. But with this one, because I'm paying it, I have that expectancy. It's plain and simple. I wouldn't want to have to see that. So when I do jump into the game, and it's nice to turn around and see, okay, so I have pretty much the game and I can max it out to the best I can. But you know, something like this is locked. Double click to unlock it. It'll cost 400, which is about €5, I think it works out about. That's not bad. It's not something game breaking. It's not going to affect me. The one thing I would like to see are some more bug fixes. I don't consider the game to be in the top region of gameplay. I am a tester myself, and the amount of bugs I've encountered in this game is pretty heavy. A lot of them that I wouldn't even prevent from going through, especially when it comes to grouping. Some people not being able to get in to play with their friends, things like that are pretty bad. So, but at the same time, the core of the game seems to be working. You can get in, you can play it. I can join in the story, I can use the abilities. There's so many things that are working and so many things that are not, which I still expect to be fixed for the money I paid. But I don't have high expectancy for new content later on down the line. I just don't. I'm going to be open about that. The fact of the matter is, if I turn around and in 6 months time I am bored of the game, I'm not paying for it. If the developers don't want to push content out, that's all well and fine. If they want to just stick to putting, you know, skins and little things as their content, I can't argue with that. There's no reason for me. I'm going to be able to get God knows how many hours to the point I get to max level. Once that is not affected, I have absolutely no problem. But if it becomes affected during the lines where the money I'm paying for the game, then, you know, it changes the perspective a bit. That's all, and that's generally my view on that. And with that, I'll close off this episode. It's been a bit longer, but it was the last of the basics. There is nothing else I can really think of that you can learn pretty much as you just walk into the game. After that, it starts getting a little bit more advanced. We'll look into some changes that you make, more abilities, more usage. We also have upgrades. You can even look into the guild things if I want to do. Where is this? I was looking for story crafting, achievements, PvP. We can get into PvP as well as the world versus world and some other aspects about that. But that's it for this episode. I hope there was some useful information there, guys. Of course, thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.